Alec Baldwin. The show Rust Go On. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. I've explained to you elsewhere why Alec Baldwin is a narcissist and that he's an upper lesser type B. No facade, bombastic, belligerent, brash, bragging. As you know, he's been charged with involuntary manslaughter relating to the death of Helena Hutchins. But where did all of this leave the production, where he is the lead and, of course, is one of the producers? Has it been shelved? Has it been decided that no, the show must not go on out of respect to her because she was killed and it would be better to leave it? The fact that it may well now be tainted, because who would want to go and watch a film where somebody has been killed on the set and covered in such detail? Who would want to go and watch a film after the behaviour of Alec Baldwin has been laid bare? Well, it would appear that the show Rust Go On, because according to the New York Post, in an article by Nika Shakinazova, Alec Baldwin will remain in lead role of Rust despite being charged. Alec Baldwin will remain star of the movie Rust as it restarts production, the film's lawyer says. The 64-year-old actor is facing charges of involuntary manslaughter in the 2021 death of Helena Hutchins, despite his insistence he didn't pull the trigger. Hutchins' widower, Matt, who shared his 10-year-old son Andros with the late cinematographer, will continue as executive producer, a role he took on as part of a wrongful death lawsuit settled in October for an undisclosed amount. Rust director Joel Souza, injured in the shooting, also will return. The film is still on track to be completed, Rust Movie Productions lawyer Melina Spadoni said in a statement. Hutchins, 42, was fatally shot on the movie set outside Santa Fe, New Mexico, on October the 21st, 2021, after Baldwin's prop gun discharged a live round and struck her in the chest. On January the 19th, Santa Fe District Attorney Mary Carmack Altaviez said she charged both Baldwin and the film's armourer Hannah Gutierrez-Reed with 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter. The actor's lawyer has called the charges against the 30 Rock actor a terrible miscarriage of justice. Gutierrez-Reed, who oversaw the weapons on the set, has repeatedly denied responsibility for the shooting. She was once described as being a bit careless with the guns. Baldwin and Gutierrez-Reed will be charged in the alternative, meaning the jury will decide guilt or innocence on which of the 2 charges, involuntary manslaughter or involuntary manslaughter in the commission of a lawful act, prosecutors said. Now, the fact is that the film will continue. This, of course, is demonstrative of Alec Baldwin's absence of emotional empathy. Now, some of you might think, well, how much of the film had they already completed? How much is there to go? Money had been spent. Might it be better to complete the film? Also, there may be contractual obligations which mean it has to be completed, and if it's not, then people could end up being sued for a lot of money. Those are valid considerations. I know from observations that people have made and discussions I've had about the film that those of my empathic friends have observed doesn't matter whether you'd filmed 90% of it already, doesn't matter that you might have some contractual obligations. The fact is, a lady died on the set, and the most appropriate fashion of proceeding is not to. It was interesting listening to their views, that notwithstanding the commercial case which might suggest, well, you've gone so far with it, you really ought to complete it, it was a firm shaking of heads from those empathic individuals who said, no, somebody's been killed. Not only out of respect ought you no longer continue with the film, the whole thing should be canned because it's tainted as a consequence of the loss of life. One wonders, of course, whether there's a possibility that Baldwin thinks to himself, well, I wanted to go out there because I've had to make payouts in association with this film and I need to recoup the money. That kind of co-clinical thinking would be entirely entirely commensurate with the mindset of a narcissist. Despite any words to the contrary, Baldwin doesn't care about the person that has been killed. He will care about the threat to control posed by these involuntary manslaughter charges. He has no emotional empathy for the victim or the victim's family. He only cares about his position. And of course, the loss of money, in terms of paying out under a lawsuit, is a threat to control, and therefore his narcissism will be compelling him to deal with that continuing threat to control by the loss of money by causing him to want to recoup it. Notwithstanding the fact that Baldwin is a wealthy individual already, that doesn't matter. It's what it represents, and it's a loss of control, a threat to that control. And therefore his narcissism will state, we need to get that money back. And therefore, that would be clear as to why he would dismiss any canning of the film, and instead he would prefer to proceed with it. Furthermore, he's the lead actor. He's Alec Baldwin. He believes this is a great film, and that he should appear in it, and audiences should see it. Of course, we may well see another example of the short-term thinking of the lesser narcissist and collateral consequences. Namely, his narcissism says, you've got to see this film through. You're the star of it. You've got to see this film through. You've got to recoup the monies. Only, of course, for a completely unpersuaded paying public to decide, we're not going to come and watch this movie. We're not interested in it. It doesn't seem to us as a pleasant thing that we should go and see. You've done the wrong thing. Of course, Alec Baldwin isn't thinking that far ahead. His narcissism doesn't function that way. What are people's observations about this below the line? Do they form a similar view to my empathic friends that this is a movie that should be canned, or do they see a business case whereby it should continue? Storyteller writes, the movie will start with a black screen and the words for Helena, hopefully the lowest box office in history. Traverse Trish, Rust will be in the Hall of Shame for the lowest number of viewers in history. James F. Williams, do you think the Rust movie will be a financial and ethical moral failure? I do. C. Lou, Baldwin is a loathsome, despicable man. He wants to make this movie with the goal that it will attract enough viewers who will then be paying for his horrendous fatal blunder. Baldwin is hoping that there is a curiosity to see a known killer. What a greedy, cold-blooded creep Alec Baldwin is. G Money, because he and other celebrities are above the law. BR Girl, anyone who views that movie is complicit in the murder of beautiful mum, wife, friend, daughter, Helena. Just a Thought adds, agreed, anyone who pays to see Alec Baldwin's actual horror show is an accomplice after the fact. Ari Carney writes, it wasn't murder, it was negligence. It remains to be seen if the chain of custody of firearm used as a prop and the responsibility of using that firearm extends to the actor, generally speaking. Then it remains to be seen if that custody process was interfered with and by whom. These details will determine who will receive the most severe punishment, but at a minimum the studio and producers can expect to be sued for any profits. Carlander, in the resumed movie, Baldwin's cowboy character is only allowed to carry a cucumber. I wonder if his wife is able to pronounce that word for him. Agent 007 urges boycott this movie. Brian S. Downs, I'm shocked, surprised he couldn't add a role for his wife as a Spanish woman. Patrick Leeson makes it political. He only cares about himself, typical Democrat, to which American Lady responds, narcissism runs in all parties, or didn't you pay attention to years 2015 to 2023, at least recognising Baldwin's narcissism. The fact is that he is continuing with this show because he doesn't care. He will claim that he does, but he doesn't. He has no emotional empathy for the victim or the victim's family, and he's governed once again, like anything with a narcissist, to the exclusion of other matters, the prime aims. And because he doesn't operate with the facade, he simply bludgeons his way through life, continuing with the filming of this and the ultimate appearance of Rust. Another insight into the way that an upper lesser B behaves, demonstrating various facets of entitlement, lack of accountability, absence of emotional empathy, the application of the prime aims. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.